Hello everyone, in this video we are going to discuss about introduction to exception handling. So before discussing exception handling, so what is mean by exception and how it is related to error. So what's the difference between error and exception and how to handle this exception. So all those things we'll discuss in this short video. So before going to exception handling, I told you that we will discuss about errors. So actually there are three types of errors. Of course, we have different types of errors, but here we are basically dividing different types of errors into three categories. The first one is compile time errors, second one runtime errors, and the third one is logical errors. So every one of us know compile time errors. We used to face these type of errors in C, C++, and Java. In every language, we used to face this one. I mean, like if it is a compiler-based language, then only we will get compile time errors. So compile time errors are nothing but like simply syntax mistakes. So why? Because what is mean by compilation? So it will just check for the errors syntactically. If you are using C program, so whether your code is according to C language or not, like we will follow some syntax and semantics, right? So whether your code is according to the rules and regulations of C or not, so that it will check. That is the first duty of compiler, and then it will convert the high level code into machine code. So this is like a translator, right? Compiler is a translator which will convert your code, because your code you're writing in high level language like C, C++ or Java, that will be converted into low level, that is machine language or binary language. So these are the duties of compiler. While compiling the code, what it will check exactly? Syntax, whether your program syntactically correct or not according to the programming language you use. So those errors comes under syntax errors or compile time errors. For example, semicolon, right? If we forget to miss a semicolon, like put a semicolon, then we will get an error automatically, a statement missing semicolon, right? So those type of errors comes under compile time errors. And coming to second one, runtime errors. So at the time of execution, if you get any errors, generally, if you use dynamic memory, if you use a dynamic memory, obviously the memory will be allocated at runtime. So if the memory is not sufficient in your system or for your program, then in that case, the system knows, or the language what we are using, that knows at the time of runtime only, okay, the memory is insufficient. So at that time, it cannot execute your program, right? If it cannot allocate the memory for your program, then it cannot execute your program. So it realizes that, and it will state that like we got so and so error, like memory insufficiency, right? Those errors comes under runtime errors. And the third one, logical errors. So logical errors are done by the user itself. For example, in the program, if they ask us to calculate multiplication, so the formula will be a into b. But instead of that, if I write a plus b, so what I'll get addition, but not the multiplication. So that is a logical mistake, right? So if you do a logical mistake, you will get the output. You don't get any error, but like we don't get the exact output or what we want, right? We want multiplication, but we got the output for addition. So that is nothing but a logical error which are done logically, like the mistakes which are done logically are called as logical errors. Now we know compile time, runtime, and logical errors. Now we will discuss about exception. So what is exception and how it is related, like whether it is related to compile time or runtime or logical error. We'll discuss that. Right. So here we have a brief definition for exception, that is the runtime error is called as exception. That means, of course, you cannot call all the runtime errors or exceptions, but exception will occur at runtime, right? The error which occurs at runtime is called as exception. Now, so we have another definition for exception. Exception is an abnormal condition that interrupts the flow of execution and the control comes out of the program. So you're executing your program in a normal flow, like sequential or whatever. in a flow, the program will be executed. So whenever you get an exception, the flow will be stopped. It will interrupt your program. It will come out of your program completely, right? That you're calling as exception. So such an abnormal condition corrupts some private or confidential files, obviously. For example, you're dealing with a file handling, and that file you already have opened a file that is very important file. So you have opened file that in the middle you got some exception. So what happens, obviously your program will come, like your what we call, the control will come out of the program, right? Without closing that file, without closing that file. But already I said that is the important file. If you don't close that file, what happens, like other people cannot access that, right? So even if you are handling like with the files, you should close that files, right? After your use, you need to close that files. But if we get any exception like this, then you cannot close that file. So at that time only, at that point only, the execution will be stopped and it will come out of that program. That you're calling as exception. Now, in this case, how to solve this problem? So if the program is coming out of, like if the control is coming out of the program, what is the solution? Whether can I know that situation? Because of which situation we are coming out of that program? We should know, right? So whether it is a memory issue or whether it is any logic mistake or any error specific case, right? We should know that. We can rectify that. So that is nothing but the exception handling. How to handle an exception. When you get an exception, how to handle that. But luckily in Java, we have a predefined exception handler. Predefined exception handler. That means if you get any exception, if you get any abnormal condition, it will automatically handle even if you don't handle that. So that I can understand where exactly I'm getting that exception and what type of exception I'm getting. So this is all because of default exception handler available in Java. So in Java, we have a default exception handler which will handle the exception automatically. But it has some issues. So it can handle only some type of exception, but not all. But not all. So at that case, what we need to do, we need to handle like in our way. Okay, so if it can handle, the default handler can handle, it will handle. But if it cannot handle, we should handle that exception. So that we will see. And so we can handle this exception in using 5 keywords, mainly 5 keywords. So these are all keywords. Actually, you should use small case letters only. So try, catch, throw, throws, and finally. So these are the 5 keywords. So I'll explain in brief about all these keywords. But in the next videos, we will discuss one by one with a detailed example. So the first one is try keyword. So try is a block where we need to write the code which may generate the exception. So we don't know, right? We are writing some 100 lines of code. I don't know at which line I will get the exception. So if you are thinking, like if you are thinking some particular code may generate the exception, in the sense, you can put that code within try block. And try must be followed by a catch block. So whatever you write within the try, that will be checked line by line whether you're getting exception or not. So whenever you get an exception, automatically the control will be thrown to catch. So that's why try must be followed by a catch. So whatever the exception you're throwing from the catch, from the try, that will be catched by catch block, right? From try block, you're throwing the exception, and from back catch block, you're catching that exception. So how to throw this exception? We have a keyword called throw. Using throw keyword, you can throw the exception from try block to catch block. So we will see a simple explanation here. For example, I have try block. Here I am writing some code, 3 lines of code followed by catch block, right? So what happens here? At the second point, I got an exception. I got an exception. What I need to do then? Of course, I don't need to do anything. Why? Because the default exception handler is there. So what it will do? It will automatically throw the control to catch block by skipping the remaining statements. So after this exception, whatever the statements are there that will not be executed, automatically the control will go to catch flow. But how it will go directly from try to catch using throw keyword. But of course, we are not writing this throw statement specifically. Why? Because automatically it will throw. Internally, they have a code. What is that code? It will throw that exception using throw keyword. So this is possible only for the predefined exceptions. If it is a predefined exception, automatically that will be thrown to catch flow. But if it is a user-defined exception, we need to throw that using throw keyword. So in the later videos, we will discuss about what is meant by user-defined and what is meant by predefined. So predefined in the sense already existing one. If you are creating your own exception for a particular scenario, then you need to throw your exception from try to catch using throw keyword. And next one, throws. So sometimes our program may generate multiple exceptions again. Again in the sense, the program may cause multiple exceptions. In that case, you can throw that exceptions to the system itself. So to the system itself, I'm telling in my program, the program may generate these type of exceptions. If you have multiple exceptions to throw, then in that case, you need to use a keyword called throws. I'll explain in detail later. Okay. And then finally is very important. As we discussed earlier, if we open any important file, if we get the exception, the file will not be closed. That means after exception, whatever you write, that will not be executed. So here I'm writing closing statement. F close I'm writing here. But this will not be executed. Why? Because before the statement only I got the exception. Now in that case, what we can do? After catch, you can write a block called finally. In this, you can write any important statements which you want to execute after exception. So even if you got the exception, you want to close the file, then you can close that file. Within finally block. So even if you get the exception, you don't get the exception, the statement will be executed, right? So if you get the exception, luckily we can close this file. If you don't get the exception, here only the file will be closed. So that is the importance of this finally keyword. So before closing this video, so I told you that we have a default exception handler in Java. So we will check whether it is available in Java or not using a small program. Right. So here we have a small program in which we are writing directly main function, and we have three values here a, b, c, and I'm finding x value. The formula for x is a divided by b minus c. If you observe this b minus c, b and c values are 5 and 5. 5 minus 5 will generate 0. That means something by 0 will generate infinite value. So the system cannot handle the situation that this system cannot define infinite value. In that case, what happens? Exception will occur. So if it is a normal C program, what happens? The control comes out of the program. That means you don't get any proper output. Completely your system will be stuck. You need to close that C editor. Then again you need to handle that. I mean, you need to reopen that. You need to check the code where you have done the mistake. But here in Java, we have a possibility that we have a Java exception handler. So in this statement, what Java will do, it will find out what type of exception we are getting. So here I'm trying to print C value. Sorry, here I'm trying to print X value, actually, not C value. So I'm trying to print X value. But actually X value, it is not possible, right? Why? Because it is an infinite value. So we will try to save this and execute this. What Java will tell us. So exception demo 1, right? Dot Java. Exception demo 1. Okay, we'll try to execute this. Exception There are no errors, no syntax errors. Sorry, I did a mistake, I think. Exception, sorry, D small, D small. Okay, so we got the exception here. So what is the exception? Java dot lang dot arithmetic exception. So what is this arithmetic exception? Divide by 0, divide by 0. So it is giving the line number also. What is the line number? At 8th line, you got this exception. What is this exception? Arithmetic exception. 8th line. So if you observe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, exactly. At 8th line, we got the arithmetic exception. I told you that exception is a runtime error. See, that's why you're getting error at runtime. See, I'm able to execute this code. I'm able to compile this code. But at the time of runtime, it is generating this exception. So if it is a normal C program, we don't get this proper output. But in Java, we have a default exception handler. So that default exception handler only giving this message. What is this message? You got arithmetic exception. So if you don't understand arithmetic exception, what is that exception? It is divide by 0. At which line? 8th line. 8th line, you got this mistake. So that you can correct that mistake. So this is about introduction to exception handling. I hope everyone is clear with this exception. Thank you.